What is up, my viewers? Spang here, bringing you another viewer-submitted replay from Night Flyer, again, KFX. I think the teams are a little better this time in terms of a little more even. The M103 versus E75, he's still... This time he has his upgraded gun, and not quite the upgraded turret, but hey, I think he's got his priorities straight. Going for the gun instead of the turret. You can do that late game, T52 Scout. Basically, they're just talking teamwork and coordination right now. A rare thing in this game, random matches, but it does happen. So I love it when it happens. I wish it happened more often. Sadly, it doesn't. Anyway, but as I was saying, teams are pretty even. IS-3s, I know from my own experience using them, are very good tanks. I have the highest win ratio in my IS-3 in terms of high tier tanks, and I have the highest average experience per battle in my IS-3. I definitely enjoyed my IS-3. I definitely did very well in my IS-3. So they have good they have two good tanks, and they do have, his team does have one more tier 8. So that is nothing to be really scoffed at, but at the same time, you look at the teams, they have two 1390s. 1390s are very strong tanks. Yes, they're a tier 7, but they do very well for themselves. In fact, I've seen 1390s kill Type 59s like it was nothing before. So he's asking what tanks those are to the south. He's actually coordinating with his base. I mean, with his team. I'm sorry, I was reading the reading the chat there. Got a little bit mixed up. But he's trying to figure out if he needs to head back to base or not to handle those two heavy tanks that rushed south. But no one's quite telling him what it is. So far, lost a scout. Each team has lost a scout, even footing more or less. And he's going where a lot of the heavy tanks typically go, which is this hill right here. Surprising amount of tanks staying on base, so I don't think under any circumstances he would have really had to fall back to base. Artillery rather far forward. He should be in a little bowl area where he should not be spotted. At the same time, I don't know how effective he's going to be in that location. I tend to prefer to be in F0, not G0. Anyway, personal preferences. So right here, he's fighting the E75. He's letting his team know that E75 is north, taking a good side shot. So penetration really isn't an issue at this point, considering he has the upgraded gun. This gun is a beast. Ammo hit. Oh, that is very unfortunate. He's taking a good shot. I think he was trying to hit the E75 in the ammo rack, but not quite hitting it. He does use this repair kit on his ammo. Wise decision, I think, because rate of fire is one of the M103's greatest strengths. When you have, I think if you have ventilation, shell rammer, and 100% crew, it is approximately 9 seconds. That may have changed with the 7.4 patch, which just recently came out, but, you know, it's nothing of too great a consequence. So artillery trying to take some shots. Artillery is a large factor. It is an M12. That is nothing to be scoffed at. Their team instead having 2 tier 5s instead of 1 tier 6. So basically M103 saying, let the E75 come to us. And I have to agree there. That's usually the smart decision. If you can stay in your advantageous position, do it. I think he should probably reposition so his tank's not angled like that. He's letting Artie get shots on him. Very smart. There's 2 heavy tanks still in the south. Another heavy tank pushing around the south end. But nothing really happening too much in base at the moment. No significant losses on his team at this point. M12 telling them to sit tight. He's saying, sure thing, no problem. And like I said, right here, ooh, getting a very good shot. Bouncing that shell from that E75. Very nice. Telling Artie to take his time with the shots. But like I was saying, he might want to get it to where his tank isn't angled on the hill like that. I think that's definitely not helping his gun angle, but not becoming much of a factor right there. E75 almost near death. They're about to lose their heaviest hitter, which will certainly cripple their team. Telling his guys to aim lower. Don't aim for the turret. Yes, as artillery, you want to typically aim right in front of the turret because that usually allows your shell the best chance to hit. So you aim on their body and typically right in front where the turret is, so you will nail them right. So you have the best chance of hitting them somewhere. Now, anyway, this is not an artillery game. I'm not going to discuss arty tactics. I'm going to focus on this match. So I believe he did get the kill on, yes, he did get the kill on that E75, did the majority of the damage to that E75, and before rushing around the corner, actually takes the time to see what's around the corner, bouncing a shell, using that frontal armor to the best of his advantage. Not only that, it is sloped at an extreme angle. If they hit a side, they're most likely going to get through because of the way he's angled, but right now he's only exposing the front of his turret, just bouncing shells left and right. Very impressive. getting free shots more or less on the enemy team across the way, taking out that 1375. The T-25/2 is being ignored currently. South, still not much going on. Those heavy tanks still hugging the same spots they were in moments ago. So the majority of their push right now seems to be in the north, although the only real heavy armor in the north seems to be the E-75, which is no longer a factor. Basically the IS-3s and probably the T-32 and even the 4502 are somewhere in the south. So I think potentially it's looking simply like the enemy team did not push enough armor north, and I think they're realizing that at the moment. And they're saying, hey, since most of their stuff is north, we really need to push south. Otherwise, we're going to lose. Which KFX saying, move up, because he sees that push going on in the south. I'll cover you from here. The M103's gun is a very accurate gun. It makes it a very good sniping tank. And at distance, chances of something getting through your frontal armor, which I think he should probably angle his tank a little more to have his frontal armor facing the direction of the enemy. But he says, hey, this side is good, make them... M12 saying to make those heavy tanks move up to where he can get a shot on them. M12 probably not going to survive, telling his team to push all the way while he falls back and defends base. He is a tier 9 tank. He should be able to bounce shells from those tanks as long as they hit the upper part of his frontal armor. If they hit the lower part, they will most likely get through. And center, so there is, yes, all three of their heavy tanks are in the south. There you have that one heavy tank around the bend, 2 pushing up the hill, and 1 pushing city. You have a light tank, a 1390, just charging straight up the center. I'm almost certain, technically not saying this match is crazy, potentially, but right now the enemy team, to the best of my knowledge, has no... Wow, M12 doing very well for himself, taking out an IS-3 like that. You know, engaging TD mode, TD already hybrid mode, I'm assuming, but close enough to TD mode. So north push is going to keep pushing south into the enemy base. And like I kept trying to say, but kept interrupting myself, I am almost certain the enemy team has no idea that KFX is falling back, that the M103 is going to be waiting for them on base. The other tank is the 4502 Alpha, not really a good tank in my opinion. It's probably this... Debatably, it's the worst tier 8 heavy. But, I mean, it's debatable, but from what I'm seeing of it and my personal knowledge of the other tier 8s and looking at that tier 8, I just have a feeling that it is a very unimpressive tank, a very ineffective tank, and, you know, right here it's going to die. So, 1390 coming up around, just going to try to run circles around him, do what a French tank does best, bouncing off his front, and gets lit on fire. You know, like I said, that's always the very nice thing, is when you can just watch your enemy burn and not waste another shell on finishing them off. 1390, another one coming up and around the corner. KFX might want to turn. There he goes. This one is at 100%. Does not bode well for him at all. He's doing the exact right thing he needs to do, which is have his back to this mountain. The 1390 cannot run circles around him this way and just, oh, lit on fire. But yes, typically if a tank is fast around you, capable of running circles around you and basically preventing you from shooting him, you just put your back to a wall like this. It's a very good strategy, especially for TDs. And then it becomes very much more difficult for them to do that. Anyway, about to finish off this 1390. Bam! Very impressive with that. You know, he barely lost any health at all. I think he has played this very well so far. He's up to saying delicious. Cooking himself some French tanks, making himself some frog legs, cooking those frogs. Anyway, he is going to take on what is left pushing his base, which is going to be a 3601H. And a 3601H. They do not really stand much of a chance. His turret's busted now, so he's just going to angle his... I think he's just betting on the chance. Okay, now he's going to angle his tank to shoot him, maybe? Nope. Take the shot. You have it, buddy. You have the shot. Damn. There you go. So, I mean, he probably made the right decision there, keeping his armor facing and not really turning his tank to take a shot. Bouncing some more shells. Approximately, again, probably about 28% of his health. He's hurting, but chances of that 3601 killing him, especially since it appears to be using HE or is just aiming for his tracks, trying to keep them stationary, you know, really not going to be able to kill him. I'd be very surprised if that 3601 killed him, because at this point it is a tier 6, mediocre tier 6 heavy, no, not even heavy, medium tank, trying to take on what I believe is a very, I shouldn't say very potent, but a decently powerful tier 9 heavy tank. So never stood a chance. The only thing remaining is artillery, probably approximately in the K line area. I'd say probably K5, if not even more north. No, actually, I'm certain it is probably in K5, maybe K4, maybe K6. But that's unimportant. KFX saying, good work, team. You know, hey, good work, KFX. You fell back to base. And, yeah, good job, M103. You fell back to base. Did what you needed to. And really, oh, yeah, and the M12 did not... I guess the M12 did not survive the encounter for 48502. I wasn't really paying attention at the time. Approximately the same experience as the last round I received from him, which should have been uploaded. A little less credits, but, you know, more or less same earnings. Nothing very significant there. Just everyone he damaged, he destroyed. So not a single person damaged. 24 shots, 23 hit. You know, that's, and 26 hits received. Wow. But, I mean, in all fairness, a lot of those hits received were from lower tier tanks. But still, those lower tier tanks were taking shots at him knowing they had virtually no chance of penetrating. So, hey, if you want to give someone steel wall, be my guest. Especially if it's me. If you want to shoot at my tank when you know you're not going to get through my armor, be my guest. I'll take a steel wall. Anyway, and he did detect that 3601. So, Battle Heroes, again, getting everything but Invader. I'm surprised with how many tanks were actually around the cap. I mean, as you can see, 2 heavy tanks and a medium, that an Invader medal was awarded, but I guess they let the KV5 get it, or they were just busy already hunting, or I do not know. KV5 is not a fast tank. That medium easily could have been there before him. So, not quite sure what happened there. Anyway, Sniper, Steel Wall, Top Gun, and obviously since he got more than 7 kills or more, in this case 8, he got Bolter's medal. So, very well done. You know, KFX, Night Flyer, whatever you prefer to be called. I have been pretty thoroughly impressed with your games. You're definitely a good player, especially the previous game when you were playing more or less with the stock equipment. That was impressive. So anyway, if you want to send in a replay like KFX, just send it to spanglereplays@gmail.com. If you like this video, click that like button. If you want to see more, subscribe. And this is Spang, signing off.